What's going on, guys? It's me, Gemini Fan 2016 here, and today we have the GeminiJets March/April 2025 releases for you guys. I'm excited to see what GeminiJets has to offer for this month, as Edgemals did theirs yesterday, as of this, of course, recording. Of course, this falls on the same day, so Edgemodels released their releases on Tuesday, which features some really cool models like the Delta MD88, Korean Air 747-Shade, and the Trump 757, but let's see what GeminiJets has to bring to the table today for their releases for March and April. So, as you can see, we got some really cool models. These are all from the February releases right there, and then we can see some future releases over here with the, one of them is the Delta A221neo 100 years and A350 as well, and then you can see some other feature releases. Not gonna go into further detail about them, but yeah, some really cool feature releases right here. Anyways, let's click on this. And as you can see, everything is buy it now for the 1/4 section for February. I'm surprised that the Southwest 737-700 is still buy it now. So there's still many of these there's many of these in stock still. So overall, the color actually looks much better than the NG version, but the mold is also good too. I heard from collectors that they did improve on this mold, which I'm gonna have to take a look at this model. I mean, I've seen some sneak peeks at a collectible show that I attended, but yeah, it should be really interesting. Alongside the United 737-800 Star Alliance livery, I think that also looks very cool, and yeah, GeminiJets also did a good job on that model. As for the 1/200 sections, okay, making sure everything is buy it now. Everything is buy it now as of this date. I also want to look at that Delta MD88 because that also looks very nice as well. So here it is. And as for the Hawaiian A330-200, same deal as the previous. It does look very nice, and yeah, they did a good job on this Hawaiian A330 right here. And yeah, we're just gonna see what Edgemals has to offer for this month. So as I scroll down, we got the 1/4 GeminiJets March/April releases. So we're gonna see what they have to offer. Also, I'm kind of outside as per usual, just hours out to work, and I'm currently outside in a public area. So yeah, you can see some background noises, but I'm gonna try to do something that can reduce the background noises. But overall, I'm just eager to see what GeminiJets has to offer for this month as we get into the release set, the release set for March and April. So without being said, let's get started with the 1/4 section, and we're gonna see what model we start. Let's see what model. What am I saying? Okay. We're gonna see what model is good. Well, okay, I kind of mixed up on what the sentence I'm gonna say. But without being said, let's get started with the GeminiJets March/April 2025 releases, starting with the 1/4 section. Alright, let's see what our first 1/4 model is on that lineup. We're gonna start off with Aero Mexico, nice. So we have a E190, and I think that's their new livery. Yes, this is in their new livery, and yeah, it does look very nice on the E190 alongside the 737-800. So it's really fitting because this month they released the E190, last month they released the 738. So overall, I think that model should be a nice model for all the collectors right there at Mexico, or many people who collect models, and this aircraft flies into their airport. So overall, it should be a really cool model. And yeah, their E190 mold for GeminiJets, it's a very nice model, mold. So that aircraft is registered X-Ray Alpha, India Alpha Charlie. And yeah, the major difference is the livery, just the style of the livery, and then they also revamped the logo itself. So it does look really cool, I'll say. And the price is $58.95. Is that the same price as the others? I'm trying to look for a regional jet, but we'll see, because every year GeminiJets really likes to increase their prices, but we'll see on this month's release set. So moving on downwards, next up we should have a Delta A221 in the 100 years livery. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one right there. So this month was Delta's 100th anniversary, so it's very fitting for GeminiJets to release this model in the March/April releases, and honestly, this looks very nice. The livery on this A321neo looks fantastic, and honestly, you got everything to deal with Delta's 100. You can see the 100 years logo right there. You can see a very cool pattern of the swoop, and then you can see, of course, the navy blue area, but the difference is instead of having the Delta Airlines logo red, it's now silver, or a platinum-ish color to indicate that Delta is a century-old airline now. So really cool to join for Delta to like join the lineup with KLM, Qantas, and then Avianca and Finnair into like century-old airlines. So it's really cool to see GeminiJets doing this. NG also did this too on a future release set, but I think Panda also did this too. I'm not sure if Phoenix Malls also did this too. So GeminiJets is coming in with doing their own rendition of the Delta 100 Years livery. So really cool right there. That aircraft is registered November 589er Delta Tango. And yeah, maybe I might spot this aircraft in the future. And let's see if we also have the A350 as well. And we do also have the beautiful A350 in that same livery. And yeah, it also looks very nice too. Just like the style of it just looks fantastic on all of these planes. So yeah, Delta A350 100 Years livery for Delta Airlines is also in that release set as well. So that's really cool. That aircraft is registered November 527 Delta November. And overall, I think GeminiJets will do their renditions, and I think they'll end up looking really good. But you also got the other manufacturers who are also going to be doing this. Panda, NG, Phoenix. So we'll see on whose is better. But overall, really nice to see GeminiJets trying to not saying compete, but want to make their own iterations in some sort of way. So the A321neo is $62.95. The A350 is $75.95. Now, $62.95. Yeah, that's okay. I think I'm seeing something because wasn't the 737 $856.95? I guess that they jumped up the price a bit. So the A321neo is now $62.95. So that's I guess that's a $3 price increase. So yeah, GeminiJets tends to raise the prices every single year. So that's kind of the deal here. It's kind of a trend at this point for GeminiJets. So I can't complain. But yeah, that's your new price for an A321neo right there, $62.95. Wow, that's a lot of money, I'll say. And then $75 for an A350. Yeah, this is just hitting things different right here. Alright, but moving on downwards. Next up, we should have... And then we have an Emirates A350-900. And yeah, really cool to see them do another A350-900. This one is the second A350-900 in the fleet. And yeah, same deal as the previous one. It's kind of the same. It's almost the same deal. I think GeminiJets will also do a good job on this model. And yeah, I think they delivered this. I'm not sure they delivered the second A350 yet, but yeah, it's a really cool The livery itself on this aircraft looks very cool. And yeah, I do like the style of the revamped livery. So that aircraft is registered Alpha 6 Echo X-Ray Bravo. Not just say Bravo correctly, but yeah, Alpha 6 Echo X-Ray Bravo is the registration. And yeah, the partnership with GeminiJets and Emirates, it still continues to go strong as of this date. And yeah, same price for the Delta A350. Once again, that's a $3 price increase, unlike the previous one. Do we actually have an A350? Okay, I have not seen an A350 yet on this release set, but yeah, it's really interesting to say the least. Alright, moving on downwards. Next up, we have Frontier. Ooh, that's a retro. What is it? Ooh, oh my god. Not Delta. The Frontier and the 81. Oh, it's in the Saul Vesely. Okay, that's a really cool retro right there. Okay, so we got something really, really cool for all the retro guys right there. Frontier McDonnell Douglas MD-81 in the Saul Bass livery. That is Saul Bass. Yeah, Saul Bass livery. That's the one. But yeah, that looks really cool, honestly. Now, this is the Frontier before they had the animals. And yeah, this honestly looks really cool. Just the livery itself, it's kind of fitting for this livery. Yeah, the livery fits perfectly on this plane. And yeah, I'm eager to see on how GeminiJets is gonna do with this. And yeah, it's just it's a really cool retro for all the retro guys right there. So that aircraft is registered November 859er Hotel Alpha, and the price is $62.95. And yeah, $58.95. So yeah, that's a $6 price increase right there. Oh no, not $3. That's a $9.66. $4 price increase. Yeah. So this month, unlike similar to last year, this month for April, the prices have jumped to $4. So yeah, it's kind of a trend that happens with GeminiJets. So every single year they would bump up the prices to $4. So yeah, it's kind of the same deal. I'm not sure how long are they gonna do this, but yeah, at some point the prices has to go down, because like what if a 1/400 like CRJ 200 costs like $80? Who wants to pay that? That's kind of like the thing at that point. But yeah, we'll see if GeminiJets can lower down the prices at some point in the long run, but I don't really have any control with GeminiJets. What they do is what they do, so I can't complain too much right there. But either way, we do have retail stores, so yeah. But let's move on. So Frontier McDonnell Douglas MD-80, that's a really cool retro model right there. Next up, we should have, Hawaiian Airlines. Okay, 717-200. All right, okay. Oh man, like, okay, so GeminiJets is pumping up these Hawaiian Airlines releases recently. This is so cool. So we have another release of a Hawaiian Airlines 717. So, I mean, I'm not sure what release this is, but it's still cool to see one. I do have a 717 in my collection already. That one is November 492 Hotel Alpha, which I'm not sure if I've flown this registration at all yet. I would be surprised though if I did. So I'm gonna have to look all the way back in 2021 when I flew Hawaiian Airlines back then. So yeah, just give it a while, you guys. It's gonna take a while for me to like scroll through all this like stuff. But if I haven't found anything, then probably I'll just like leave it right now. But if I ever did flew on this aircraft, then I'll show you the date on when I flew this plane. But I just only remember that I only flew on a Hawaiian 717 once. So that was from Kahului to Honolulu. So not sure if it was operated by this registration, but if it was, then that's gonna be really amazing that GeminiJets was able to release a model of an aircraft I've flown. So really cool to see them do another Hawaiian 717. I did miss out on the 1/200 counterpart from the previous release set, so if ever they do a 1/200 717, I will get that. Anyways, the price is $59.95. So yet again, like these price increases, that's a $4 price increase right there. So from $59, that's like the previous one had like the previous price was $55. So yeah, these price jumps are kind of like a trend for GeminiJets at this point. Alright, so now moving on downwards. Next up, we have, what is this airline? Helvetic Airways, and this is a E190 E2. I'm guessing this could be an airline from Switzerland. Yeah, I think that's an airline from Switzerland, given the tail right there. So it has the Swiss flag on the tail. So this is I have never heard about this airline. I think I may have on Instagram, but I never really heard about this airline too much. But it's a unique airline for this Swiss airline industry. Of course, you got LOIs and then Swiss International Airlines, but then you got Helvetic Airways, which not sure if they started operations. I think they started operations like a decade ago. So this airline isn't really that old, but I think this could be their first E190 E190 E2 they have in their fleet, so that's what I'm assuming. But yeah, really cool that GeminiJets is kind of like expanding that market to like many distinctive areas around the world. Anyways, this aircraft is registered Hotel Bravo Alpha Zulu Charlie, and the price is $58.95 for this model right there. So yeah, it should be a really cool model for the European collectors. Now let me get a sip of water because like I don't want to be talking too much and then just running out of breath. Alright, so let's move on forward with this release set. As we scroll down, next up we have a Jet2.com Airbus A321neo. So this should be a really cool model for so it's in like, is this like the current yeah, I'm assuming this is the current release. So here's an A321neo right there, looking very nice. And yeah, once again, this should be it's a nice model for all the European collectors, because like Jet2 would fly to various like European destinations around the European continent, and then yeah, they have some hubs in the UK. So yeah, it's a really cool it's a really cool airline. I never seen them, but I have to go to like London in order to see this airline in person. So really cool. They did have a couple of A321neos. I'm not sure how many they operate as of now, but yeah, they've been flying these as of late. So really cool to see GeminiJets do Jet2 right here. That aircraft is registered Golf Sierra Uniform November Oscar, and the price is $62.95. So yeah, like just these crazy price jumps. I'm not gonna go into further much detail because like you already know at this point. Anyways, moving on. Next up, United Airlines. Oh yes, United Airlines Boeing 767-300ER Star Alliance livery. There we go, man. I've been wanting something like this, and not, I'm not saying like something like this, but I was thinking of like GeminiJets might do this model in the future. But there she is, United 763 Star Alliance livery is now here. So yeah, I'm gonna be getting this model, of course. I did recently picked up a United 737-800 Star Alliance livery, so yeah, I might as well go for this one too. So here she is right there. This is in the Evil Blue configuration, so it has the Evil Blue titles, Evil Blue engines, and Evil Blue winglets. And overall, I think this model should look very nice, and I'm just super excited to have this in my collection. That aircraft, if I can close this tab, is registered November 653 Uniform Alpha, and the price is $68.95 for this model right here. So yeah, a really cool model right there, and I'm just super excited to pick that up. Anyways, that's it for the 140 section. So really cool diversity right here. So of course we got one retro model, which is the Frontier ND81, but we also got some European selections right there with this Helvetic Airways E190E2 and the Jet2.com, just Jet2 A321neo. But then you also got some North American varieties like this Aeromexico E190 new livery, the Delta 100 years livery on the A350 and the A321neo, and then the United 763. So we got some really good diversities here. Also, I do want to mention the Emirates A350 as well. So Middle East is included in this release set too. So overall, really nice set for the 140 section. And yeah, like GeminiJets, they do love pumping out these American releases, especially retro ones too. So really nice to see them do that right here. But we're not done yet, as we got the 1-200 section for GeminiJets in the Gemini 200 department. So we're gonna see what our 1-200 offerings has to, like, what our 1-200 offerings is for this month. So without being said, well, next month and this month. So without being said, let's have a look at that right now. So let's see what we have first. Allegheny. Oh, it's in the DC9 too. Nice. So we got an Allegheny DC9. So this is another cool retro model right here, but this is coming in the 1-200 department. So we got an Allegheny DC9-30. So that's really cool right there. So as you can see, this is the Allegheny livery on this aircraft. Of course, it features all the various like elements of the Allegheny livery, and then you can see the Allegheny titles right there. VistaJet, Victor Juliet right there, and then overall, this should be a really cool model for all the retro guys as well. So GeminiJets continues to pump out these amazing US retro releases right there. So really cool. Not sure if they're gonna do a one. I'm not sure, like, cause it's been a while since they last done a DC9 140 mode. So I'm not sure when that's coming, but who knows. That aircraft is registered November 967 Victor Joy, and the new price now for the DC9 is $112.95. Anyway, so that's the DC9 right there. Next up, we should have, let's see. And then we have an Atlas Air 777 freighter, and then I'm assuming there's a flaps down or interactive. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, we have the 777 freighter right there for Atlas Air coming in 1/200 scale. So they did release this. I think they released this last month. So it's really cool to see them release this one in 1/200 scale the following months. So overall, it's a nice livery. I think the Atlas Air livery looks very nice on this 777 freighter, and I think GeminiJets will also do a good job on this model in 1/200 scale. Anyways, that aircraft was registered November 703 Golf Tango. The price is $182.95. That's close to $200. And of course, we got our flaps down or just interactive series version as well with opening doors and opening cargo holds. That price is $191. So that's literally like a $9 price increase on this model. So that's crazy to think about right there. That an interactive 777 freighter in 1/200 scale is nearly $200. That's just insane, I'll say. So yeah, that's just insane. That's all I can really say. Anyways, moving on downwards. Next up, we should have, okay, so we got our, nice, they're going to be releasing the Delta A321neo in the 100 years livery in the same month as what they did in 1/4 scale, so same song, second verse with the A321neo. Not to go over too much, but the price is $121.95, and that's for the A350. There's the A350 right there, also in that same livery. $196.95 is what you'll be paying for this model right here. So yeah, best to get at retail stores because like they offer discounts on these on most of these models. So yeah, they should be really cool in 1/200 scale, I'll say. So not sure if I want to try to get the A321neo in 1/200 scale. I don't know if I've seen this plane. I don't know if I'll be flying on that livery at all, but who knows. But it's kind of like hard to depict right there. So yeah, those are all the 100 years liveries for Delta Airlines coming in 1/400 scale and 1/200 scale for this month. So really nice to see GeminiJets do both of these planes in both scales. But let's move on downwards, and we do have an Emirates A380. So I think this has the revised livery, and it does have the revised livery. So as you can see, nothing to go over too much. I mean, it does look nice. The revised livery does look very nice on this aircraft, and overall, their 1/200 A380 mold is rather interesting. I'm not sure if I want to try to pick that up, but that's kind of like a long way there. So maybe in the future in the long run, or maybe if I get a good deal on a 1/200 A380. But yeah, it's impossible, honestly. It's just quite impossible to depict if I'm going to be getting a model like this or not. Anyways, that aircraft is registered Alpha 6 Echo Oscar Hotel, and the price is $228.95. Gosh, that's a hefty price tag right there. Anyways, moving on downwards, let's see if we got more good releases, or not saying good releases, but let's see what they have to offer next in the 1/200 department. That's gonna be a Maham Cargo McDonnell Douglas MD-80 freighter. Now, okay, so what are they? Oh yeah, they're kind of like a Netherlands carrier. I'm not sure if Martinair Cargo. I think they still operate as Martinair, but they did retire the ND-80 years ago. So yeah, that aircraft is no longer in the fleet. But I will say though, the livery does look very nice on this aircraft. I do love this kind of pattern right here, and then it kind of almost has 3 arrows that are kind of pointing in this direction. And then you can see pretty much the plane is almost all a year away, but this is a really cool. I think the livery really fits nicely on this aircraft. So I haven't seen Gemini done a MD-11 a 1/200 MD-11 in a while. So yeah, really cool to see them still doing this version right here. It has windows, so that's really interesting for a cargo airline. But that aircraft is registered Papa Hotel Mike Charlie Sierra, and the price is $195.95, close to $196 right there. Anyways, let's see what our next model is. And then we do have the interactive series. So it's been a while since they also done a interactive MD-11 as well. So as you can see, I think the last one they did was the FedEx MD-11. Oh wait, no, I scratch that. I think it was the Lufthansa MD-11 freighter. So really cool to see them jump back on the interactive MD-11 in 1/200 scale, and we'll just see if they'll ever do a 1/400 interactive MD-11 in the future. But that's kind of a long run, but yeah, who knows. So same song, second verse for the registration and livery. That price is now $206.95. So talk about a $6 price increase, right? Actually, no. Talk about a $11 price increase right there. So that's really insane. Anyways, moving on. And then we have a United 737-800 in the Star Alliance livery. This was released last month in 1/400 scale, so now they're releasing it in 1/200 scale now. So really cool to see GeminiJets also doing this in 1/200 scale. Again, I got the 1/400 version. I'm eager to see on how that model looks like, and overall, I'm just super excited to unbox that model in a future mass unboxing. But the 1/200 version of this, not in my priority right now, unless I've flown on this aircraft. But for now, I'll pass on this one. So same song, second verse of the registration, November 76516. The price is $121.95. Same for the A321neo. And our next model, let's see if we have our last model. Okay, we have the flap-down version, so nothing to go over too much right here. But that's a $5 price increase right there, so it now bumps into $126.95. So yeah, nothing much to go over too much. Actually, is it $5 or one, two? Yeah, $5 price increase. So yeah, nothing to go over. And then, oh, United 787-8 Dreamliner comes in 1/200 scale. No way, that's really amazing right there to see. Alright, so we got I'm guessing this one is in the evil blue lip. Okay, internet reception kind of hit me over there, but we're gonna fix that. Okay, okay, what are we doing here? Are these okay, what is going on right now? Am I offline or something? What is happening? Let me try refreshing this first, so hang on, guys. Alright, so now that's refreshed, let me see if this works again. There she is, man. It's in the evil blue livery. Gosh, that's good. I know this 1/200 version is gonna look very nice, and yeah, it's really cool to see GeminiJets do this in 1/200 scale. I was quite surprised that they're gonna do it in 1/200 scale instead of 1/400, but maybe next month they'll do a 1/400 version of the United 788 in the evil blue livery. But still, this is really cool to see. Gemini doing a 1/200 787 for United Airlines. That's gonna be a really cool pickup in the future. But yeah, nice to see right there. That aircraft is registered November 26902, which I'm assuming that's the first United 788 to be painted in United's new colors. But the price is $187.95. So that's still a hefty price tag, but yeah, you can get these at retailers for a much cheaper price than that. It may still be expensive, but it's better than paying $187. Anyways, let's see what we have next. And then we have our Virgin Atlantic Airbus A330-900neo with the 40th anniversary sticker right there. And there is the livery itself, or just the sticker. They also did release this last month, so really cool to see them release this in 1/200 scale as well. And overall, I think this should be a very nice model for all the European collectors right there. So that aircraft is registered Gulf Victor Sierra Romeo Bravo. And that price is the same price as for that United 788. And that is it for this month's release set. So no military releases for this month. So really odd right there. But this whole lineup, I'll say, this is a really cool lineup of models right there. But we kind of like missed out on a few Asian models. But it does make sense because like GeminiJets is kind of like strict. I think like all the licensing from Asian airlines is kind of like hard to like depict. So yeah, that's the reason why they don't do this. But still, these are really cool models right there. We got like really cool releases for the North American side. We got two retro US models right there, the Frontier ND81 and the Allegheny DC9. And then we also got like a couple of releases. I don't know who's like, why is there sirens going on right now as I speak? But yeah, they're just emergency personnel, so they're just doing their job. But still, these models are so cool to pick up. The 1/200 section is like, they're just on another level. But you got the 787-8 Dreamliner for United Airlines at 1/200 scale. That's really cool. And then we also got a Hawaiian 717, United 763 Star Alliance, Delta 100 years livery on the A320neo and A350, Air Mexico E190 new livery as well, and then all your various like European and Middle Eastern stuff right there. So really cool release set from GeminiJets. GeminiJets continues to pump up some really good North American releases and retro releases too. So yeah, we can see what. Actually, I'm gonna tell you guys what models I'll be getting. So I'll actually be holding these off. I'm not sure if I'll still be getting that, but I will most likely go for the NG versions of the A350 and the A321neo for Delta Airlines in the 100 years livery. But it all depends on the NG A350, because I also want to try getting the Gemini version of the Delta A350 100 years. So that's kind of like somewhere in the long run. But the models I will be getting is this Hawaiian 717, looking very nice. And I'll also be getting the United 763 Star Alliance right here. So these are all my two pickups for this month's release set for GeminiJets. And overall, these models will look amazing despite their molds. But as for the 1/200 section, I'm kind of like holding off on that 787-8 in the evil blue livery. Not sure if I'll be able to pick this up in the future, but if ever I get a good deal on this model, then I'll most likely get it. But I also want to get a 1/200 United 789 in 1/200 scale, so that's also a white whale model for my collection to have. But yeah, cool release set, and if I were to give this a rating, it's a good release set. I think it's really hard to like know these percentages, but I think a 88% or 89% is kind of like a fair percentage of this release set. So overall, we're still kind of missing on a couple of things. Like I think they could have at least add a little bit more diversity to this release set, but still a really good release set from GeminiJets. And overall, the 717 for Hawaiian and the United 763 are my picks for this month's release set. Let me know what models you're going to be getting for this release set. So yeah, just let me know in the comments below on what you're going to be getting in this month's release set for GeminiJets, and let's see what GeminiJets has to offer for their main releases next month. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on that post notification bell so you won't miss a video like this anytime soon. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Anyways, good night.